All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay. Go.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
Fireside Chats.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy Lou Martinez, aka Big Chief Burrito, live with you on a Wednesday. Fireside Chats with Big Chief Burrito coming at you live from the Burrito Lounge in Chula Vista, California. We got Shy Girl over my shoulder there, taking a nap on the bed. Hope everybody's having a good evening. Starting a little late today. I don't know if that has something to do with being Hispanic Heritage Month and us always being late, but never mind. We are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month from the 15th to the 15th. So I am trying to amplify more Latinx, Hispanic, Latino, Latin, whatever you want to call us, voices. And I want to talk about the people that are out there trying to make a difference, trying to make things for us, by us, and that are promoting the culture. La raza, as we say here in Southern California. Thank you, Jason, for stopping by. The O'Reilly clip got you cracking up. Thank you for stopping by the stream, brother. And without further ado, let's jump into it. I want to welcome my guest. I heard about him through another podcaster streamer that we were thinking about collaborating on something. I was going to be on a panel, and then I was trying to get him on the stream, but he said, you should talk to is this cat, Big Brown Dad, Carlos. He's got a coffee brand that's geared for Latinos, Hispanics, and he's doing a bunch of cool stuff and stuff. So hit him up right away. He was like, let's do it. He busted out some topics he thought we should talk about. I said, let's get after it. So I want to welcome aboard the pod, the stream, Mr. Carlos Aguilar, Mr. Big Brown Dad. How you doing, brother?
Hey. Don't tell anybody. It's past my bedtime, so I'm doing everything I can. I'm actually sitting on a block of ice, so you can imagine the testicular fortitude that I have.
It's a lot of strength, man.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm alive, and I'm happy. And thanks for the invitation. I mean, look, we both share a big in our name. I sometimes refer to myself as the chief high priest of Mestizo Coffee. We have that in common, and I can tell you right off top, I favor the burrito over the taco. So I think we started on the right foot here.
It's kismet, man. It's perfect there. What you sipping on over there?
Now, hey, we're in LA. We got to do shit a little different everywhere we go. You know what I'm saying? So this happens to be my homeboy made some beer and he used some of my coffee, and then he took that beer and took it to some festival on the East Coast. I guess they banged it out, and I can't even taste the coffee. I'm not even going to front. This is from War Cloud Brewing. It's called Golden Mike, and it's something that they took to a festival. And the homie brought it and brought me the last bottle basically after the festival. And And now I just decided to crack it open here tonight. But I wish you were here to share it with me, Big Chief Burrito. But you're not that far away. You're in
Chula
La
Vista.
Jolla?
Chula
Chula
Juana,
Vista.
Chula Juana, as they call it.
Chula Juana. I got love for those border towns.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Absolutely. Jason stopping by. Thanks, Jason. 2 a.m.'s got the best burrito. And there's nothing like a burrito at 2 a.m. Absolutely. Beer, coffee, I don't necessarily, I mean, that's like, I guess both of those sort of industries have gone a lot of change over the last several years. San Diego especially, there's a brewery every other street corner, like, craft brews, IPAs, all this stuff that started happening, home brews. Similar things happening in the coffee industry over the last couple of years as well. At what point did you decide to sort of jump into that territory? Have you always sort of, because I know you have a background in film, marketing, music, all these different avenues. How did those things lead you to jump into, coffee?
Well, simple and plain, I had a conversion experience, not unlike some folks have a religious conversion experience. I had a coffee conversion experience about 4 years ago. I had a buddy who I saw was competing in coffee brewing competitions. And I had been drinking coffee as an adult, cheap coffee, any coffee, all the coffees, coffee with creamer, coffee with sugar, night coffee, morning coffee, whatever, I'm down. I'd even take pictures of my shitty coffee, like coffee guy. And I didn't know that there were like levels to the game, as they say, until I saw the homie compete in coffee making. So I invited him to our office, and he came through with a scale and a bag and his own water. And he did what looked like a science experiment, that make a cup of coffee that in the way that I'd seen made. And when I tasted that coffee, I tasted notes of blueberry. And he didn't put blueberry anything in that thing. And it opened my mind up to, wow, this is coffee. Should I have been called coffee? That wasn't coffee. And the reason why this coffee tasted so good was because of the craft, the technique, the origin. So there was a story to why all that was true. Am I still good? Yep.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Look, I flashed out. So that kind of got me interested in coffee more seriously and became a serious enthusiast. Maybe it was like 2 years after that. I said, you know what? I'm going to start making shit. Like I noticed that coffee, they call this third wave or specialty coffee, where like it's not Starbucks. It's actually more elevated than that. It's like the Blue Bottle, the Intelligentsias. They call this specialty coffee. And if you thought Starbucks culture was white or monochromatic, like specialty coffee and the way craft beer was maybe 10 years ago, was like
Right.
a white dude's aesthetic. And I knew that Latinos drank more coffee than white people, even if we were drinking shittier coffee. And I knew that in the same way, I compared coffee culture to hip hop culture in 1979. As like specialty coffee culture is hip hop culture in 1979. If only white boys were doing hip hop in 1979.
Okay.
So I knew that just by jumping in the game, I was going to be able to do something fresh with flavor, different, just because of, just my
When
background. And
what when you talk about like the different layers of like coffee, because there's one of the things that I always talk about in terms of like the Hispanic Latin cultures is that we all make the same types of food, but our ingredients are just like a tiny bit different. Like, Brazilians use a lot more black beans, Colombians red beans, Mexicans, brown beans, Peruvians yellow beans. But they're all beans, right? At the end of the day, and then
right.
Cubans have cafecito, Colombians have el tinto, everybody, and so it's just a big part of Hispanic and Latin culture as all these other things. Um, did it surprise you when you started getting into it that it was such a white owned and controlled sort of industry? When you were getting into it, you're like, hey, I might find some of my own people in here, and were you surprised, or did you already kind of understand what was happening before that?
Well, early on, just when I started, because I work in advertising and I started paying more attention to brands and design and language and marketing. I started to pay attention to the coffees that I was liking and the ways that they were branded, and I certainly recognized a similar aesthetic. And then I was on the lookout for like, oh, I wonder if they're Latino-owned specialty coffee brands. I wonder if they're Black-owned specialty coffee brands. What are they doing, and how are they doing it? And let me put money in their pockets versus in the same old coffers. So early on, just like almost with anything, even with beer, like as soon as I say like, "Ooh, I think I like this," let me find the people who look like me who are doing it, because I'm I'm a little more savvy consumer. I know I want to spend my money. I'm not even actually, now we know that I'm not even necessarily ahead of the curve. Most consumers of a certain age, are a younger age, want to buy from brands who represent their values. And so I was that kind of consumer. There was a lack of brands with the kind of voice I was interested in the marketplace. And so I went from making shirts to saying during the pandemic, you know what? Let me jump in the mix and launch my own coffee brand, which is what I decided to do with Mestizo Coffee.
Yeah, a lot of the brands that I would notice, or where it was going in coffee and other things, like even like chocolate, was sustainability. And they're like, yes, we're going to go get all, yes, we're this big white company and we're going to Peru to take all the coffee beans, but we're doing it in a nice
Yeah.
way.
Right. Right.
How do you make those decisions on where to go find your raw products, and how long does it take you to search them out, vet them? And also, how do they feel when the person approaching them is you as opposed to XYZ company?
Um, the history of coffee is a political history. It's an economic history. It's a history of war. It's a history of culture. It's a history of colonialism. It's a history of labor abuse. And I'm just starting to dip my beak into all of that history, and it's complicated, especially in Latin America, but also across the world. Um, one reason why I decided to step forward and with my own brand is because I was fortunate enough to be connected with the premier Mexican American coffee roaster in the U.S. out of Portland, Angel Medina, who I used to run in similar music circles with back in the day. And it just so happened that he uh, started honing his coffee roasting abilities and started gaining national recognition for it up in Portland, Oregon. And so he has a distinct Latinx coffee brand and um, coffee shops in the Portland area. And as distinct as that is, and as explicitly Latino as it is, it's not necessarily my version of the Latino experience, even if they're compatible. But I think that was kind of so. I worked with him to develop flavor profiles for my audience, and he does the sourcing. And his approach, I mean, and then what happens when you get people from diverse backgrounds into these positions where they're making purchase decisions is you get to see like all the fuckery happening behind the scenes. I can remember a story he recently relayed where you get a lot of this white savior kind of posturing. Mic check, mic check. It was like I lost the screen, but
You're good. You're good.
you get a lot of these brands are saying, yeah, we go, it's ethically sourced. We go down there and they take pictures of the farmer and the white boy hugging the native looking woman or whatever. And they're like, it's kind of weird that these kids go down there and posture in this way when the farm owners are actually multimillionaires. And these kids think they're doing these farmers a favor coming down there with 10, 20, $40,000, because their narrative is, as Americans, we are the important ones or whatever. And it's just
They're like Mighty Mouse. Here I come to save the day.
that's right. So I think when you get more people like in the mix, you start to be able to just stop, or at least be able to identify some of the fuckery that's happening in the industry.
Do you see any of the sort of similar narratives as we see, like, what was it, one of the Jenner kids try to like the turnkey tequila business, where they go
Right.
in there, they take a couple of pictures with the sunset, with the mezcal, with the
Bro.
farmers again, and then it's like, all right, cool, I'm slapping my name on this, $1 million please, when other like Mexican run companies that have been around forever, like,
Right.
do you see a lot of that sort of same type of shenanigans in the coffee as you were doing that?
I mean, you do see, you basically see one type of story executed to varying degrees of professionalism. So you see like the higher end, like there are the brands who do it really well, who do the eco-friendly, sustainable, invest in the farm, and like they tell that story really well. And then there's scores and scores of brands who just slap on these origin photos and tell romanticized stories about how their money goes to save people. So I think there's a lot of posturing when you have white folk interacting with who they think are poor people in Latin America or whatever. But what I do actually, I try to avoid as many quote unquote Hispanic Latino tropes in the way that I talk about my coffee. There's no Aztec headdress. There's no calendar of any sort. There's no Diego Rivera. You won't see Frida Kahlo anywhere fucking on my website. And
Um,
most Latino coffee brands, that's their go-to, bro. That's their shit.
I mean, I guess it's a difference between creating your own branding versus co-opting like the culture as a brand, right?
Yep.
I'm talking live here with sorry about that, Carlos Aguilar from Mestizo Coffee, live and direct from LA. Here, we're a couple of hours away here. Seems like a world away, really, but it's not that far when you think about it. And we're talking about his brand, Mestizo Coffee. Here, I'm pulling up the website here. Um, like you said, no Frida, no stuff. Top shelf Mexican fro. So
So you
you
can see a
wanted to,
b-boy. I don't know if you can see that b-boy hitting a windmill in the back right there behind those two bags right there, but that's a b-boy.
okay,
And you'll see there's a real street art aesthetic.
yeah.
You'll see the copy has a real like poetic hip hop flair. Naming is a hip thing, bro, and I love like that's one dope part of this as a creative exercise and building a brand is like what are you making, what are you calling it, and what are you saying about it? You know what I'm saying? That's like really fun.
All right, and you've embraced the monthly sort of, hey, check it out, you can subscribe, and then we'll send you like a new batch every month, kind of keep them flavors changing, right?
That's right. Yeah,
Uh,
no. How about this? I mean, if you just go to limited, because I think that's what's really fun about what I'm doing. What's even more different, if that's a phrase, are these collaborations I'm doing with hip hop artists.
okay,
So if you scroll down even one more, I don't know if you're familiar with the first collaboration I did was with Elemento, who's a hip hop artist with the Visionaries,
okay,
and we put an album on the bag. And so if you get the bag, you scan the QR code, you get coffee inspired remixes. So producer Egads took classic coffee songs from like Frank Sinatra, fucking Bob Dylan, whoever, some old shit, bro. He took those tracks and took Elemento's acapellas from some of his more popular songs and remixed them. And we put that on a bag. That's called the ceremony. And then we did something similar with Piece 586, who's a producer, and we dropped a roast called Black Love, and that album is about 30 minutes of instrumentals. Actually, if you click on the drop date there, if you click on that button, you'll see it's 30 minutes of instrumentals related. I'm sorry, built around some of our favorite love songs. And so as part of the promotion, I hired a animator from Mexico City called Flores to make this little video here.
okay. It's got a Dilla-esque look to it.
For sure. Well, he's on the MPC.
Yeah.
The album is like sample based, you know what I mean? And it's really dope, really fun.
Now, this all looks incredibly cool, man. A lot of good production. Now, when you jump into a market like this, obviously you have a background in marketing and promotions and stuff like that, so it might be a little bit easier to you. But what were the biggest learning curves for you journey jumping into the industry? What was it something that you were unprepared for?
Um, it wasn't easy because it's humiliating. And if you have a business, anybody has a business knows, being depend, you kind of go into business to be your own boss, but you're more vulnerable than ever before. In this type of business, you know what I'm saying? You're more dependent upon people than ever before. You know what I'm saying? So that means if you're serious about selling some product, you're going to have to talk to them. You're going to have to ask them to buy it. If they say no, or they hem and haw, you need to try to convince. And then you're at some point, like me, you're going to be like me and be like, why in the fuck am I wasting my time trying to convince a motherfucker to buy a bag of coffee I'm going to make $4 off of, bro? Like, that ain't, I got better shit to do in my life, bro. But it's giving me an opportunity to do like cool shit because I have coffee. And it's only 9 months in, and I've had like 400 customers from all over the country, bro, and I've done great in terms of exceeded my expectations in terms of how much coffee I've sold to the number of people I've sold to, but I haven't sold enough to sustain, like for this to be my 9 to 5 or anything like that yet. So that was sobering to realize that on one hand, I could get a lot of tremendous value, tremendous just community, tremendous feedback on the stuff that I'm creating, new friendships, a lot of great shit comes out of that. That doesn't necessarily mean like I'm crushing it, like I'm buying jewelry or whatever the fuck because I'm crushing it. But I could be, and I'm going to be on the path, and it's just like I got to keep going. But it's humbling. You can experience some feel good, but there's like going to be this undercurrent of like I'm really dependent on other people to make this go, and there's something really vulnerable about that.
No, I mean,
And I don't like it.
I mean, you got to come out of your comfort zone a little bit to sort of jump, knee deep into the industry, right?
Yep.
One of the things that I recently read an article or saw a video about was the fact that one of the because Europeans didn't necessarily know about coffee for a very, very long time. They were drinking that brown shitwater tea for forever, and they actually discovered coffee, and coffee in a way changed the world, or even changed the advancement of culture, the advancement of art, the advancement, because once we got that caffeine in us, the creativity went up, like literally across the world. There was a time when the world was pre-coffee, and
Right.
post coffee, it actually we actually took a jump up as a species, right? So it's not just you could literally change the world with a cup of coffee, right?
Bro, I was reading something. They were like, yo, there was like an aphrodisiac. They were like, yo, come through. We got coffee. They're like, the bitches were coming through, bro. They're like, you got coffee? Like, you got to go back like 1,200 years, bro. Like, motherfuckers were like, coffee? I was like, yeah, I don't know. But I guess early on, they were even brewing it. They were crushing the seeds of it and like eating it early on. But then, when they got to brewing it, well, the two things you're going to want to do, right? If you're in charge and you have coffee, give it to the women because it's an aphrodisiac, and then give it to the workers to get their ass fucking get the pyramids built or whatever the fuck they're going to be doing with this shit. Like, get to work.
So were you like a cold press guy, like a fancy, or were you just like I mean, I'm gonna admit, I love coffee. I love a good iced latte. I love my tintito after I eat some Colombian food. I have my little coffee at the restaurant and stuff like that. I need coffee in the morning, but I'm a busy guy. I'm a stick a pod in the Keurig, throw some stevia on there, a little bit of this, and get going. Does that is the go ahead.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Do you partake in the Mary Jane?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so then you're gonna ride with me here, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so there's some stress, some dirt, some brick, some like just, and it'll do in a crunch, like in a jam. Like if you're in New York, for example, and in 1996, like it's gonna have to do. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want that.
Seeds. You got.
Okay, now what do we do though to compensate? Sometimes we'll get like get a great blunt wrap. We'll get a cotton candy fucking perfume wrapper, and we'll mask the trash with some perfume. And we trick ourselves into thinking like this is better than it really is, but it's dirt. And like there's no two ways about it. Like, and well, the good thing with coffee is that coffee actually gets graded upon export, and for a certain standard of specialty coffee, it needs to hit a certain grade. The mass producers of coffee have no interest in catering to the special niche, so they don't roast. Well, they don't select coffee at a high enough grade to meet the criterion of specialty coffee. And the coffee they do get, they're making economic decisions, and they know people are putting milk and fucking creamer and drinking it all. So, and people generally don't care. So all that to say, there's a real difference in the quality of coffee that is perceptible even to someone who's new to it, in the way that I was when I first experienced that coffee. Like, oh shit, this is different. The reason why, or the way that coffee can be discernibly different, is if the person who's brewing it is crafting it in a way where they're paying close attention to ratios, water temperature, pour times, which is what I do. So the Keurig, that's just it's like bottom end coffee, and then B, it's probably, if you're drinking that Dunkin' Donut, like don't get me wrong, that's some of the shit I used to drink when I thought I was like drinking coffee, like the Fruit Loop Dunkin' Donut, like all that shit, bro. That's just trash coffee. You're just putting cotton candy blunt wrap on dirt weed. What you need to do, and then is like what I started doing was I got a scale, a gooseneck kettle, a Hario V60. I have like 3 or 4 brewing methods, and they're different techniques, and they extract coffee in different ways. The same coffee bean, the same bag of coffee, if ground at a different size, heat the water's a little hotter or colder, that could affect one cup's taste from the next. You know what I'm saying? So it's like some cool shit. It's kind of like,
Well, no, I understand that, and I do have a grinder and a coffee grinder, and there's certain brands of coffee that I will, because there's a Colombian brand here in San Diego that's like they it's all owned by Colombians, and they bring the coffee over, and I get that some of the times when I'm feeling fancy, but I do feel like I want to learn more about, you remind me of that scene. I don't know if you were a fan of Breaking Bad, where Walt is in the lab and he's got his assistant. He's got that big ass contraption. And you're like, what the hell's that for? And it was his coffee maker. Right. And he was like, I heat it to this because I don't heat it to that. That's what you were sounding like that to me for a second,
bro. I'm a noob, bro. Some cats go hard, bro. Like,
whoa. No, yeah. Where I thought you were going with that when you were talking about Mary Jane is because smoking is not necessarily all about the smoking. It's breaking up the blunt, breaking up the weed, getting it to the right consistency that you like. You don't want it to be super shredded because it'll burn too fast. You want it a little chunky. You want to let it dry. You want to add your key for your crumble, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought you were talking more about enjoying the process of making it as opposed to just press a button, coffee's ready, right? So
there's that too, for sure. No.
I thought that's where we were going at, but I completely understand, opening yourself up to a more enjoyable, more fulfilling coffee experience.
And with anything, it depends on how much you're willing to pay. Because now I'm entertaining buying this $250 coffee maker that's supposed to make a coffee as good as and I can program it. So now I don't have to spend 7 minutes. I spend about 5 to 7 minutes making my coffee every morning. It's a thing, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. I don't trip. It tastes great. I wouldn't do it any other way. Like, I'm that guy now. Like, bring me the coffee. No, take this away. No coffee. I'm that dude now. Like, I'm not
yeah. Okay. Well, I grew up, watching the Colombian guy with the donkey outside the window. So I was just like, so I feel like as a Colombian, I'm expected to know a lot about a couple of things. 2 of them start with C, coffee, and so I feel like I should be open to more advanced and I guess higher scale ways to drink it. How do you feel about like this coffee that's been ingested by like squirrels or monkeys, and then they shit it out and then they roast it? What's the
Serve
deal
it
with
up
that?
and shit.
How did people figure out that letting a little squirrel monkey eat this and shit it out made their coffee better? Who was experimenting on that?
I wish I knew, but I'm down. Let me see. I'm trying to think at the most. I think that's like a $60 cup or $500 pound. Now, how about
Right.
this? How much do you when you go get a cup of coffee? What are you expecting to spend?
Uh, $5 to $6 for a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if I
Oh,
go to
for
Starbucks,
latte. You're going latte. You're going latte. Gotcha. How
yeah.
about for just a straight cup of coffee? Just straight coffee.
I mean, I grew up in New York, so coffee was 50 cents at the diner or at
Yeah.
any bodega.
How about now?
So
Like if you're going to 7-Eleven, McDonald's, the dollar 29,
dollar,
$2.
yeah, less than $2, 2.19 at the most usually.
Oh, what used to be my scam though, real quick, was I used to roll up to McDonald's and hit them with a seniors discount coffee. So instead of paying $1, because it was $1 on the dollar menu, I'd only pay 68 cents for the
That's
seniors coffee, bro. So when I tell you to drink shitty coffee, like have fun with it, like I did. It was a treat. Um, okay, so $2 for regular coffee. Now Howard Schultz, this or whatever the fuck his name is, the Starbucks dude, was on record maybe 4 years ago saying, "I foresee a day people pay $15 for a cup of coffee, in the same way people are spending $15 for a mixed drink at a bar or whatever. Crafted cup of coffee, he could see some people paying that much for it. I've paid $8 for 12 ounces of coffee at Blue Bottle or whatever. All this to say, like with this squirrel shitting or whatever, it's a cat, whatever the fuck it is.
whatever it
I'd
is.
pay just for I'd pay for the experience because I'd be curious to see what it tastes like. I'd pay 12. I'm just thinking to myself now. I'd pay $12. I could walk into a coffee shop and if someone said, "Yo, we got some banging shit nobody has. We ain't gonna get it again." Like, oh my god, it's out of this world. I'd pay. Now I'm thinking I'd probably pay more. I'd probably pay like $22 a cup. That's crazy, huh?
That's
How we
yeah,
could go
that's
from $1.50 to $22, bro, on the same quote unquote thing.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think that it's we have to value things that are important to us more. I think, right? Like I think it's like people are it's weird what people decide to spend money on or what to waste money on. Not to saying that that would be a waste of money, but it is kind of like there's always going to be the worker bee that says, listen, I just need my coffee ready in 90 seconds so that so that I don't murder my kids in the morning when I wake up, and I don't got time to be like going through the steps and weighing it out and making sure it's ground to the same consistency. But I think that if you are a fan of the process of things, and and you want to take more pride in that, and you want to say, I want to live a life that maybe is a little bit more expensive, but that I'm purchasing from brands that I believe in, like you said, believe in their mission and stuff like that, then there's certain things that you're going to pay more for. You said it before. We used to have the stress weed. We used to have, well, here, we used to have the brick packed freaking gasoline tank weed that came over from TJ, and we'd have to, me and my roommate used to go, come up with $20 to go buy a fucking 20 bag of swag. Uh, that would have to last us till payday, and then we would sit there and pick out the weeds and smoke it out of a metal pipe, or like you said, I'd go with the peach optimos to hide the taste.
Not the peach, bro.
Yeah. but now we sit here and we're like, oh, what are you smoking on today? I was like, okay, well, today I have what do I have today? I have Purple Power, that's my sativa, and I have Vader OG, that's my indica, and I'm gonna mix them together.
Okay.
I'm gonna mix them together because I like that up and down there. It's I like my little speedball. And then sometimes I think like And then sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, this is like," and then sometimes somebody will bring like a regular joint, and then we'll be like, "Oh," but I'm like, "Damn, you got to remember where you came from, man. We have it good in California now, but you got to remember when you were stressing with the metal pipe and the fucking seeds and the shit
Uh,
like that, and things like that." So I guess it just kind of I guess it kind of depends on what your priorities are, what you want to spend your money on, and what's important to you in terms of how you live your life, right?
Big Chief, I don't know if you know this, but when you hear some Mestizo, you get some, sorry, what I'm calling micro filters for those uninitiated. This is smoke good, drink good, do good on the back of these Mestizo
Nice, nice. I like
micro
that.
filters.
I like that. I like that.
Actually, what since I might as well continue with the plug. And so I can't. Here's again a story of how having a product brings people together to put cool shit out into the world. So someone started following the Mestizo IG page, and is a fan of Alameno, the artist, and a fan of the hip hop and the coffee that we're doing. So homeboy custom made these rolling trays out of wood, bro. And
Nice.
this is the same label as the coffee for Alameno. And I'm gonna put these on my site soon. They're gonna be for sale, but kind of bonkers. But again, like, am I crushing? Am I buying new jewelry off my coffee? No. Am I connecting with people who fucking craft custom rolling trays just on love and shit? Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Am I connecting with people who put my coffee in their beer and go win fucking festivals? Yeah. Am I, again, jewelry? No. But I got a job for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, me too, man. So yeah, we'll make sure that that we'll plug because I always like to plug the companies and the people that come in, man. So on future episodes and stuff, I'll make sure that we drop your site and stuff like that. Hopefully, help you out a little bit. Our viewers know. Get you guys an unofficial sponsorship with Team Burrito. We are live here with Carlos Aguilar from Mestizo Coffee. Make sure you guys check out his site. Make sure you guys subscribe. It's a collaboration of art, coffee, love, music, all good things for the Latinx, Latino, Hispanic community, by the Hispanic community and people, BIPOC people, and we want to make sure we keep especially during this month as well as always on the pod. I want to make sure that I keep uplifting and promoting more Spanish voices. Remember, if you guys are new to the stream today, check us out, follow us all across the board, facebook.com/2am burrito. You can also go to twitch.tv/2am burrito. And obviously, you can also go on youtube.com/2am burrito and find us. You can watch all of our movies. And then also, remember, let me pull this up real quick. Spotify. And after our burrito, after our stream goes live, you can also the next day find us on all your major podcast network by searching for the 2 a.m. Burrito Podcast, Spotify, Pandora, Bullhorn, iTunes. Just search for the 2 a.m. Burrito Podcast, and you'll be able to check us out, support us, etc. Sorry. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about your background in terms of music and film and the arts and stuff like that. When you were growing up, what was because obviously you seem like you're a Renaissance man. You're going from music to movies to marketing, things like that. What was the first thing that you were passionate about that sort of started you on this sort of artistic entrepreneurial journey?
Man, I was two things. One, when you said as a kid, all I could think about was Different Strokes, bro. I don't know. Were you a fan of Different Strokes? You're from New York, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
bro. How about when I was there? I was in New York maybe 3 years ago with the family, and we stayed in Harlem, and then took an Airbnb in Harlem. Took the train from Harlem to Manhattan, and it struck me from Harlem to Lower Manhattan, whatever the fuck, downtown, and I was like, yo, I think I just did the route that Willis and Arnold fucking did when Mr. D picked them up and shit. That's funny as fuck. But anyways, favorite show of all time, probably. And you can see it represented on my site, Big Brown Dad, where I don't know if you do this or not, Big Chief, but I taught Mr. Drummond, like Big Brown Dad, I taught Mr. Drummond a few things about fatherhood, and he gives me a shout out on my site. So that's bigbrownDad.com. But you're from New York, and so, I also have to give my props to New York for hip hop, not only for Mr. Drummond, but for the Cool Herc and the gang. because hip hop was probably my first kind of thing where I had like a popping name, and I battled, and we had a crew, and then I just turned into more and more hip hop shit, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Jason stopping by the deep cup from Different Strokes. Yeah, I remember the very special Different Strokes episode where the dude was trying to abuse him, and he was like showing him the porno cartoons and stuff, and he was like, I gotta get out of here. Dudley,
Dudley,
right?
when Dudley got hemmed up at the bike
Du-
shop, bro.
yeah, Dudley got him up. Then they found him in the bathtub, right? On a very special Different Strokes. That was a yeah, that
Nah,
was a
bro.
so
Yeah, there's a couple of those episodes that stick out in my mind. There was an episode where Willis took the SAT,
mhm.
and he came back and he was like flummoxed. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I didn't understand. It's funny, bro. It must have been like only 9, or I don't know what the fuck was going on, but he came back and he was mad because the test was culturally biased,
Mhm.
and then like to demonstrate how culturally biased it was, Willis hit Mr. D with a bunch of like Harlem-esque questions, like what's a and I couldn't even remember what they were, but you could just imagine, bro. It was on some dumb shit. It was like, what's a quarter of like on some slang shit. And Mr. D didn't know what was going on. He was like, "That's my point." You know what I mean? Anyways, that episode sticks out in my mind. Too.
Absolutely.
Fuck.
So music is kind of the genesis of like the oh yeah, that was the creepy guy from WKRP in Cincinnati. Yeah, Jordan Jump. He was from that is a you are
Oh,
right.
he played that. He was the character. He was
Yeah,
that. He was that
he was
dude.
he was the chomo Gordon Jump from WKRP. WKRP in Cincinnati, also a great show. Also
Hey, Laurie Anderson, is that her name? Or there's some buxom blonde, if I remember correctly. Hey, I was only again 8, 9, or 10, but I knew the time.
Yeah, her and Marky Post from Night Court, who passed away recently. She was another early childhood crush of mine.
Yeah, I was
Young.
gonna hit you with some Nicole Eggert real quick, but I don't want to. I don't
No,
want to.
Nicole. Yeah, Nicole is an all timer. She's an all timer. Obviously, absolutely all timer.
Oh,
Lonnie
hey, I
Anderson.
want to hit. Okay. I was just gonna tell you real quick if you want to hear my Punky Brewster story, bro.
Go ahead.
Soleil Moon Fry story.
Go ahead.
I mean,
please.
my Soleil Moon Fry story. I'm a 17-year-old at Bassett High School in the San Gabriel Valley, and around this time in the early '90s, we were doing these celebrity basketball games. I don't know if they came through your town, but it was like raise money for the school, and like B and C list celebrities would come through and play the faculty or the coaches and shit like that. And sure enough, since I was a senior in high school, I was part of the security team, so I had the gold T-shirt. And Alfonso Ribeiro was playing, and who was in the stands? Soleil Moonfry, who at that time had some real action going on. And at halftime, I'm kind of standing guard next to her, and she's about to light a cigarette, so she takes a piece of gum out. And before she tosses it, I say, "No, let me take that." I take it, put it in my mouth, and chew it. And like that's my move. Like she's gonna be really impressed like by this, and she wasn't. But I can tell you, what also happened that night is at the end of the game, another student accosted a growing pains actress in the locker room, and there was a big whistle. They're like, "Everybody clear out, celebrity to the bus," and it was like a panic, like code red, because one of our students accosted a celebrity at a celebrity basketball game, grabbed her ass, bro.
Holy shit.
Anyways, I've always wanted to tell that Punky Brewster story.
No, I'll give you one, but I was in Venezuela as a kid. This is around Menudo time. I was living there for a while, and the cast from oh boy from Chips, Eric Estrada, came down to Venezuela for a promotional appearance, and they set it all up right. And it was like an opening of a supermarket or something or whatever. And then they're like talking to him, and they're like, "All right, so we got the motorcycle over there, and you're gonna get on it, and you're gonna ride it, and you can just ride up here, come up this ramp right here, and that's where you're gonna stop, and all the people are gonna be here, and they'll be like, yeah." And he was like, "Oh yeah. Just one thing, I don't know how to drive a motorcycle." And they were like, "What?" And they're like, yeah, no. In the show, they put the motorcycles on a thing, and I get on it, and that's how we do it. I don't know how to drive a motorcycle, so they had to scrape that whole drive around the corner
Wait,
and that.
was that your first kind of? Did you your first witnessing of a production? Did I get you into like?
Yeah, no, that no,
What
that
was
was
it?
just I remember that the where I lived in Caracas, there was always a lot of events. Like Menudo would play like in the courtyard and stuff like that, and they always have stuff. And my dad and my mom were kind of entertainers, so we'd always be around it. But I remember them telling me about it and me like, oh, we're gonna go see the guy from Chips, and then they were like, oh yeah, he doesn't know how to ride a bike, and we're like, what? He doesn't know how to ride a bike? That's impossible. Hopefully, he's learned
Can't
since
ride a
then.
bike.
He couldn't ride.
Can't speak Spanish.
Yeah, it's he's he's I won't say it. So music, you start getting into film a little bit later on. I mean, it's all sort of entertainment. It's all expressing yourself. Did you did you did you did you make that a conscious transition, or were you kind of burnt out on music for a while, or how did you move over to more like film, commercials, things like that?
I did start rapping when I was in high school and was performing in high school already. But when I went to college, I started writing for the college newspaper, which I thought gave me the permission to call myself a writer, and it did. You know what I'm saying? I got paid to write, and so that's what I wanted to do. And in college, I started a hip hop magazine, which also gave me access to shows and basically gave me opportunity to do shit that I liked and get paid to do it. The column that I wrote at the paper, the regular column I wrote, was a food review column, which was comedy and food review, that I ultimately turned into a grant that sent me to China for 6 weeks in the summer to eat and write about food. So that was another kind of affirmation that like, yo, like you're kind of a writer. Like people are giving you money to like do this shit. So I went to grad school and continued to rap while I was in grad school and try to connect what I was studying, which was philosophy and hip hop, in interesting ways. I thought that was going to be my path. I was going to go get a PhD and maybe, teach about hip hop or philosophy, which were my interests. But I, well, basically, I always knew I wanted to write and continue writing, but I thought I would have to go and teach. I think I'd have a career as a writer or a rapper. Even as a rapper, since I had like other career opportunities, I never really thought I would forge my life as a rapper. It was just always going to be kind of a fun ability thing to do that I had or whatever. So I got my first job writing in television after grad school, and then kind of never looked back.
And then, now you get here, like you get some credits under your belt. You got the music. You start doing the websites, the stuff like that. And you're still sort of dabbling in a bunch of these different areas, right? You're not like one job in the coffee, right? You still got your foot left. You still got your in a lot of fires, right?
That's right.
Which
I worked in
kind of like
television.
go ahead.
Well, yeah, just. I sometimes I'm just still an MC at heart. Like even the writing I did for television was always through the lens of being an MC. Like all the work that I do now at an advertising agency, I still, as a copywriter, I view my work as performative in the same way as an MC might, or as I did as an MC. Like I don't want my shit to be whack. I don't want my shit to be played. I don't want my shit to be obvious. I don't want my shit to be too over somebody's head. I don't want my shit, it's like the same kind of
Derivative.
questions you ask yourself. Yeah, you as an MC, you ask yourself kind of almost in any art form.
You got to be you. You got to bring something to the table, right? Spit that
That's
hot
right.
fire. Ooh, LA walks off in the bottom of the ninth. Walk
Oh,
off
what?
walk off home run Dodgers, 3-1.
What? Who did it?
Taylor? I'm not sure who it was.
Oh, what?
Yeah, well, I'm a Mets fan,
That's
so
big.
I don't. But I do like watching. I do like watching baseball once in a while. Um, so Carlos, you're still you're still an entrepreneur. You're still a Renaissance man, in my man. In my opinion, you're bringing all these different things to the table. You're trying to promote, the culture and stuff like that. I want to talk to you a little bit about sort of the Latinx, Hispanic, Latino, Latin, Chicano sort of not controversy, but sort of argument that's sort of ongoing in the community. I see that most of the people that get mad about Latinx in my place in because I identify as Latino. I used to identify as Hispanic growing up, but then I don't like that that's where spic comes from, and sort of Latino feels right to me. And that's sort of and that's where I think. But I also when I talk and when I make statements and when I talk about the culture, I try to say Latino, Latinx, Hispanic because it doesn't cost me that much to be inclusive. But there's also people that get really upset about the term being used, and I see a lot in Southern California that some of that's coming from the Chicano culture, who doesn't want Latinx to sort of erase Mexican American culture. In a sense, where do you fall on that sort of debate, and do you feel that it's counterproductive to the culture, or do you feel like even though we're sort of united, there still has to be these sort of separations, sort of so that we keep these individual cultures alive? Where do you fall on that?
I think, excuse me, another skill we learned as an MC was like know your audience. And I think even just that's a basic communication principle. Effective communication is to like know who you're speaking to and use the language that they're going to understand. Take a very pragmatic approach to language, and use whatever language I think is going to best connect to the people I'm talking to. So
Like
that's
code switching,
one.
right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so if I'm speaking to an audience that I think is going to rock with Latinx, that's what I'll use. If I think they're going to be more comfortable with Latino or Mexican American, I'll use that. I don't have a lot of emotion invested in any particular term. I don't have a lot of. I'll say that. I'll also say, kind of maybe one level up is I don't think. I think a lot of this lack of unity around any particular term stems from the fact that there's what I've called a lexical gap, where there's no language to adequately describe our experience. Like for me, for example, Hispanic doesn't do it, Latino doesn't exactly do it. So maybe I thought for early on, maybe Latinx was going to be the thing that did it because it was new and its definition was up for determination. I don't think that meanings of terms get handed down from top to bottom. So I don't think I think people can adopt a term and define it in the process. So I find people who say Latinx is imperialism, linguistic imperialism. That shit is a terrible argument. I think people who think there's a conspiracy by Hollywood to
Erase the
promote this
experience.
political agenda. Okay, no, like I don't think there's a Hollywood agenda to promote Latinx over everything else. But now we'll say for sure you can be more clear in language, and if you're talking about a particular historical movement, or the more clear you can be given a particular text, the better. So it might make more sense to call someone Chicano or Mexican American or whatever in a particular context. But I don't. I think people who get up in arms about the terms other people decide to use
Yeah.
are putting too much energy to it.
I feel like it's something that we're using internally to divide ourselves, which is sad, but I do understand that people should be able to identify as whatever they want. I do think that it's weird where it came from, because Spanish is a language that has made sporadic choices as to what things will be masculine and what things will be feminine, and there's no real rhyme or reason other than that it sounds better. There's a reason it's el autobús versus la autobús. It just sounds better to say el autobús, the masculine, the bus, but it's, la puerta, the door, is feminine. But then, el camión is masculine, but Mexicans say la troca, which is feminine. So I also feel it's like a little bit of like a thing where it's like the language is set up in a very specific way where they just sat there and said this term is going to be masculine, this term is going to be feminine, this, and I think it's more just based on use and how it sounds than anything else, right? Than anything that than giving definite feminine and definite masculine sort of attributes to something. So from that perspective,
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit silly to argue whether, I work for the San Diego Latino Film Festival, and it's been called the San Diego Latino Film Festival for 28 years. And it's because it's about the Latino experiment. It's run by Mexicans in Southern California, but it is the Latino Film Festival. I don't know if they should change it to the Latinx Film Festival, because I don't think it makes that much of a difference. They're still promoting Latinx content across the world. So, from that very basic language perspective, it seems a bit silly to argue about it. But like I said, rather than get mad about it and just make it like my whole personality that I don't want to be called Latinx, I just throw it in there so that the 1% or 2% of my peoples that might feel more included by using it know that I'm riding with them as well. I think that's where I'm coming from.
Yep. Yeah,
Uh,
and I'm down to have more sophisticated, nuanced, like the very flat back and forth types of conversations that you sometimes see on social are one thing. I'm open to having a more nuanced conversation about it and losing some people in the process. So, like, I, for example, defend the spirit of Latinx. I don't use it, but the reason I don't use it is for aesthetic reasons, not moral or political reasons. The aesthetic reasons are, which is to say, a style choice, which is to say, I don't use Latinx in the same way I don't wear tight jeans. Not because tight jeans are immoral or because they violate the rules given by the Grand Jean fucking regulatory board. No, I just don't fucking like it. And that's cool. That's it. And people confuse their aesthetic objections with moral objections all the time. They conflate the two. And I often tell people, like, well, all you're really saying when we kind of work through the conversation is you like vanilla ice cream, bro, and you don't like chocolate. And that's cool, but don't bring all this moral weight to this question that doesn't belong there. That's kind of
Absolutely. You know how we had I think we skipped over a very important question that Jason asked earlier, which is, oh my God, what happened to that gum? How
which
long did
one?
you the Saloon Moon Fry gum when you took it out of
Oh,
her mouth? Then
that's right.
well, how long did you
30
have it?
seconds.
Did you throw it out? Did you put it in in like a
Did I
card
eat
thing?
it? Oh no, I might have swallowed it. I'm not sure. I thought it would have impressed her. That's for sure. It didn't.
It's still stuck
That
in this.
time.
It's still in your stomach somewhere, as we were
Right.
told. Gum takes 27 years to digest. We were told that as kids, not to. So no, you're not gonna take a sticky shit. It's gonna stay right inside you for forever. So besides Mestizo Coffee, and sort of collaborating and branching that out into music and other avenues. What else? What else? And then the Big Brown Dad sort of blog and stuff like that. What what else are you venturing into these days, or what else did you jumpstart during the pandemic to sort of stay occupied?
Wow. Nah, bro. I'm probably like you, bro. Just fucking barely making it, bro. This pandemic has been a little bit of a doozy. I've been working from home. Um, I was just saying, like, time time wants to have a shape and has been really flat experientially the last 18 months. A lot of the same old. So I'm just happy I started. Hey, bro, relax, bro. I started a fucking coffee brand. What else do you want? What else do you want from me?
But you
Okay,
stress
how
over
about
it.
this? No, you know what I do? If you go to my website, you'll see that I did 2 comedy roasts,
Mhm.
Mestizo comedy roast. So we roasted 2020. We roasted Love on Valentine's Day, and I'm probably gonna have a roast towards the end of this year. So that's one thing. That's one fun thing I do, and I interview comics about their morning routine and have them answer really tough questions about, like, who would win in a fight, Lucky from Lucky Charms um, or Crunch, our team Waffle, our team Pancake.
Captain
Really tough
Crunch
shit.
versus Lucky. I don't know. That'd be a tough one.
Yeah, who you
Uh,
got?
Captain Crunch, man. He's been through some battles. I gotta go with him.
He lost a leg, right?
Yeah, Rosa from Rosa's Review stopping by. Hey, Rosa. Rosa is a frequent guest on the show. She did our Oscar show last year. She's doing big
Dope.
things at Rotten Tomatoes and other places. She's one of the most important, one of the new up and coming Latino reviewers out there. So go follow her. Thank you for stopping by, Rosa. If you need somebody for those roasts, hit me up, brother. I got you, man. I'd love to be a
Oh,
part
you
of
like
it.
you? Oh, is that right? You like to get in there and throw some roast down, or what?
Yeah. Throw some roast down. I'll go in there.
All right.
Throw some balls. Podcaster, comedian, director, editor
For
over
sure.
here.
All right.
I did want to. So I want to make sure that we covered all the bases there in terms of, like, you had some hot Latinx takes that you shot me your way. I wanted to give you a chance to defend them. These are some of the things you talk about on your blog. But the first one that I saw that you talked about was that the Karate Kid is Mexican.
Yeah, that's for Rosa. She might be interested in this. I don't know if she's familiar. There's visual proof if you guys needed some. That's me and one Daniel LaRusso.
Well, he's from,
As you know,
he was in Fresno. Fresno's.
who was?
I mean, Karate Kid. No, he moved to Fresno. He wasn't from.
No, he didn't move to Fresno.
What was it?
San Fernando Valley, bro. Okay, let me give you the skinny, bro, real quick. I'll
Okay.
give you the thumbnail sketch.
Okay.
As you know, Karate Kid is back all the rage. Cobra Kai, YouTube, the whole shit. I have kids, 12 and 9 now, but I wanted to put them up on game. We wanted to watch the new one, but in order to do the new one, you had to do the old one. So we did the old one. It's Hispanic Heritage Month. A lot of times we clamor about the lack of representation in media, and I'm starting to realize we're actually out there, bro. I think we've just missed it. You know what I'm saying? We're not seeing ourselves when we're actually there. And so when I watched Karate Kid, the original, lo and behold, I came across incontrovertible evidence that Daniel LaRusso was Mexican American. And so in this article, I break down a couple of reasons to think this is true. One, his name. How many Danielles you know, bro?
Danny. Yeah, there's I know a couple.
Fucking all over the. Okay, you'll remember that Mr. and Mrs. LaRusso actually came from your neck of the woods out there on the East Coast. They packed their shit in a van. Mother and son. Okay, industrial town. Okay, where's dad? Where's dad? No one's asking where's dad, because we know where dad is. Dad was in New Jersey with them, but he had to go back to the rancho. You know what I'm saying? He had to go tend to his first wife and those kids. He was in New Jersey. He was in New Jersey working in the factories. Came across Miss LaRusso, knocked her up. Danielle Jr., Danielle Sr. heads back to the rancho and leaves fucking Danielle and the Jr. and moms without any money. Really, without a way to fucking make a living. So what do? Head west. And where do they end up? San Fernando Valley, bro. That's as Mexican as it. Might as well wound up in Tijuana.
Right.
And not only that, well, first you have to ask, how does a single mother even know where to land? Might as well been the moon. You know what I'm saying? So just do the math. She definitely heard from someone in Danielle Senior's Pueblo about this great apartment, this little community of Latinos that were in this apartment complex. So she got the plug. She pulled up, and see the article, bro. Who does Daniel meet? A Chicano. His first friend, bro, a fucking Chicano in that apartment complex, bro. Right?
Gets bullied by white kids.
Gets bullied by white kids, but not, well, first, probably for his choice in clothes, because if you take a look at the picture, Daniel wears Nike Cortez throughout the entire movie. I mean, it's a little tough to see it there. Well, there's his Chicano friend.
Mm-hmm.
They're about to join up. He's about to get jumped in before Mr. Miyagi intervened. He was real close to getting a tattoo, Barrio de Cita Trece, I think is what they call it. And then here he's wearing the Nike Air Cortez.
Okay.
And then let's scroll down here. I think yes.
The khakis.
Oh yeah. The khakis, and then what happens? The white boys who were harassing him for being Mexican, they stole his weed, and Johnny is rolling it up right there in the bathroom, bro. And as any good Mexican, Daniel's not taking this fucking line down, bro. So you're not stealing a Mexican's weed and not getting fucking wet up over the matter. So there's that. There's also, I don't know if you remember, Daniel was pretty good at soccer.
Yes. With the
I don't know if
kicks.
you saw his hair. The kicks. He had a little bit of that like 80s Mexican like pompadour like feathered action cracking back here.
Mm-hmm.
You make the call, bro. But
hold on a second.
not exactly that, but
Not exactly like that.
There's a little more there for Daniel.
I've been growing it out. I like it. I like to say I do respect the fact that because for a long ass time we couldn't play ourselves in movies, right? The Mexicans or Colombians playing Colombians or Mexicans playing Mexicans is not something that was been around for the entirety of Hollywood. So
right.
even though you're doing a funny bit, it's also there's a lot of truth in those words, because we've been whitewashed for a very, very long time. There's been characters that have been Latino, Mexican, and that just get. Does he have to be Mexican? Can we just make it? This movie needs one more white guy. Come on, guys. Can we just
That's right.
Line them up,
bro? Another piece of evidence just struck me though. Do you remember what kind of car? Remember what kind of car this motherfucker drove?
The one he chose. He chose the oldie.
That's right, bro. He was low riding like the fucker. He was signing him up for the Duke's Car Club already, bro. Fuck.
No,
shit. I need to go back. I need to go back and repackage that argument. But I think I got some heaters in there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Carlos Aguilar, Big Brown Dad. You can follow that blog at bigbrown.dad.com. He also has the hot take that Fonzie was Mexican America. Some of the always plays oldie on the jukebox. Spends most of his time in the garage. Leather jackets. Everybody calls him by a nickname. Okay, all right, I got you. I like it.
Hey, you already know. Sit on it is really translated from the Mexican mames.
See,
no mames is sit on it, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's we're out there. We just have to look closer.
You're blowing our mind, man. It's a conspiracy. You guys can go down to bigbrown.dad.com, follow Big Brown Dad, his writings, his words, his sketches. Remember to show some love to Mestizo Coffee. Check out all their different, non. I don't see anything that says spicy or make a run for the border or this is all like you said, top shelf coffee by Latinos for Latinos. I've been coffee shamed today because I do Keurig my coffee in the morning, and it is the shitty donut shop blend. So I do have a grinder, so I'm gonna see. Maybe you'll take pity on me. Send me a sample here, so I can expand my horizons and become, more bougie about my coffee. But check out Mestizo Coffee, obviously, and follow Mr. Big Brown Dad through his endeavors, man. We are wrapping it up here. We've been talking live to Mr. Carlos Aguilar from Mestizo Coffee, talking about his endeavors, his life, his journey in arts, music, entertainment, marketing. Like I said, a true Renaissance man, and something that somebody that I want to keep supporting. I want to make sure you guys keep supporting him as well. I do have a last couple of bits here. This one is something that I like to call, should I buy this?
I like this pretty.
Should I buy this hat? Now, here's the background on this, all right? The Clink Room is a room that makes custom fitted 5950 hats. I only wear size 7 3/4, 7 5/8 fitted hats. I have one of their hats right here that I bought. It's pretty dope. It's got like the dead money sort of situation on there.
Mm.
I like to play poker, so this is why I got that. This is my poker playing hat. When I go play poker, people think I'm dead money.
Sick.
I'm actually really good. I'm going to wear that at the World Series of Poker this year. Actually, this is a
Okay.
king. It looks kind of like he's on the King of Hearts. It is a fitted hat. It is pretty cool. So the question for you, Big Brown Dad, is should I buy this hat?
Free shipping or not?
Free shipping, yeah.
Okay, free shipping. You're in, bro. $44. You're good.
The only problem with these guys is that it takes a long time to get your hats. So you got to buy your hats now, but you got to be patient because they're going to take 3 or 4 months to ship. But if you look at their
$44,
you got to look. They got some cool ass designs like this. Like this is like a New York, a pigeon
that's
with
fire.
the thing. That's fire, right? They got the elephant with the trunk. That's pretty cool there. I saw another one that's got look. This is pretty. I mean, this is a nice hat, man. Especially if you like fitted hats, they got a lot of fire design. This one's pretty dope too. I was thinking about this one. It's the lion, but it's got like the gold lion thing. So
wait. So help me out, Big Chief. When do you decide to wear the hat? Are you a hat 9 to 5, 7 days a week type fella? Or are you only during the afternoon when the sun's out, or what's your story?
I usually I guess during the pandemic I stepped up my hat game a little bit more because I couldn't go to the homie to get me the digital cut. That's why I started having to cut my own hair, and that's why I sort of started letting it grow back a little bit. But 99% of the time, and not now because I'm sort of slicking my hair now, but usually I do most of my streams hatted up. So that's why it's like on my logo. I'm usually like, it's more like my brand and stuff when I'm doing my stuff. So I do enjoy a nice fitted hat. I don't like snapbacks, so it is something that I enjoy. So then I found this company that does like these customized ones, the limited batches. They're like for hat collectors and stuff like that. So I was kind of dabbling and sort of getting down with something like that because I kind of like some of their designs. But
now, Big Chief, I during the pandemic, I almost launched a new app, bro. This might be of service to you. It's buyer. I think it was called like Buyer's Remorse. Basically, it was a delayed purchase. Okay, so basically, go ahead and click on that hat right now, put it in your cart, and then hover over the buy now. Like rub your mouse back and forth over that buy now, almost like if that was your like significant other, and you were just rubbing over that buy now. But don't buy it. You'll get like 89% of the satisfaction you would get if you were to buy it.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And in some cases, that's all you really need. That's what I found, bro.
Also, life hack: if you put stuff into your cart and then leave it closed out, that company will send you an email within the next 2 days, like, "Hey, we noticed you left your shit in the cart. If you're still curious about making a decision, we'll send you 20% right now." And you're like, "Oh yes, right into my trap." Another life hack, because you said about the senior coffee at McDonald's. One of my homies put me up on instead of getting the Big Mac, getting the double cheeseburger and asking for mac sauce. So you get that Big Mac flavor, but you don't get that extra piece of bread. That's the that's the McDonald's. You get the cheeseburger with the mac sauce. They don't charge you extra. That's my McDonald's life hack.
Wow.
All right, Mister. I got one last bit for you. Something that I do with all my guests as I wrap up the show. You have a background in film and in music, so now it's time for something that I like to call the bracket bit.
All right, boys and girls, you know what that sound means. It's time for bracket bit. Bracket bit. Bracket bit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Bracket bit. Bracket bit. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Fireside Chats.
Them graphics, sir.
Why is that? What's that logo? What's that Fireside Chat logo supposed to be? Is that a prong? It looked a little phallic, bro. I don't want to be the first one to tell you that, bro. But that fucking
Oh,
I don't know what.
the bottom third does look a little bit like a little schlongy. Yeah, I got you. It's the end of the interview. It's time for the bracket. That means I put away my notes. I light up my joint because I don't have to be on point anymore. And we do the end of this interview. All right.
Love it.
The bracket bid is created to cause maximum pain. I have put together a bracket of 32 entries into a single elimination tournament. The reasons I put it together are up to me. Whatever scientific method you want to choose to make your decision is up to you. I create the bracket, you solve it. Since you are involved with both film and music, what I've chosen for your bracket today is the best rapper actors.
Wow.
I'm going to give you 2 rappers that became actors, and you're going to tell me which moves on to the next round. Now, this can be for whatever reason you think, like which one would you rather be in a movie with, which one would you rather buy a part for, which one based on their body of work you think is the better actor out of the 2. Are you ready?
Well, I'm about to talk some shit, yes.
And the reason that we didn't talk a lot about hip hop or anything during our interview is so that if you have any definitive takes on any of these people, we can expand on it now. All right?
Okay.
You with it? All right, let's get
I'm
to
with
it. All right, number 1, Will Smith, and one of the which is probably one of the OGs of the acting game, rap to acting game, and Common, which I believe is, in my opinion, probably other than Nas, the worst rapper actor.
How about this? If I was a rapper, but I would be Common. But if I was an actor, I'd be Will Smith. And if I was a rapper actor, I'd be Will Smith. So sorry, Com.
Will Smith.
Rashid, as it were.
We got Fredo Starr or Nicki Minaj.
Damn, Fredro don't even get his name spelled properly, but fuck it.
Sorry.
Fredro, but Nicki Minaj, she's acting like I'm acting like I give a fuck about Nicki Minaj. I'm going Fredro.
Well, she took a bit of a stumble there with her cousin's balls exploding in the Caribbean or something. So she fell for the old my friend's cousin's balls because of the vaccine trick. Kid Cudi, who was incredible in How to Make It in America, one of my favorite underrated TV shows that should have gotten a second season, versus Nick Cannon, San Diego's own.
I slept on Kid Cudi and whatever series. You said, what was the series?
How to Make It in America.
That's the HBO joint, right?
Yeah, he played like a weed dealer. He was really good in that.
Okay, yeah, I slept on that series, so I can't even good conscious rock. I can't vote for him because I'm not that kind of guy. Even though I guess people rock with him, I don't even rock his music. Nick Cannon, oh, what a dweeb! But I'm going with Nick Cannon. He is a worker bee.
Mos Def, he's putting in a good body of work these days versus T.I. T.I.'s in the Marvel universe, so.
Oh, well, because we work with T.I., I can't. I think it'd be biased if I voted for him. So and I fuck with Mos, so I'm going with Mos Def. Yeah. The mighty Mos.
The mighty
Yasin Bey.
Eminem or Redman. Well, Eminem basically played himself. Redman, How High, and others.
Well, that's interesting, right? Because Eminem has real comedic genius, but it would operate in the shadow of Redman's comedic genius. I'm going Redman.
Sticky Fingers or Eve, the illest pit bull in a skirt.
Well, to be honest, if you put Sticky and Fredo and Fredro, all 3 of them motherfuckers in the lineup, I couldn't tell who's who. I'm going with Eve. She had to put in that date. Okay, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. She had what?
No, I'm saying she had a TV show, so she had it like.
Yeah, she had a TV show. Like, she was in one of the barbershop movies. She's doing her thing. Ludacris, who was absolutely horrible in that one Netflix movie from about a year ago, where he played the guy with like the golden face or something. That was really bad. He's also in the Fast Five franchise. Tupac probably would have won an Oscar by this point.
Tupac's fucking legend, bro.
Yeah,
Tupac all day, not even a question.
Queen Latifah, I mean, she's starred in like she's headlining movies. Or Nelly.
Are you as mad as I am that Nelly has a fucking Burger King? Like, This motherfucker had like how? Anyways, Queen Latifah, her that's solid. Ooh,
Ice T versus Mark Wahlberg.
Ice T plays himself. Like
He does.
stop it already.
He plays What If Ice T was a cop? You know,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, man, but I mean, from like New Jack to fucking
Oh yeah.
from
Yeah. I
everything.
mean, damn. When you think about like Icon, like him and Will Smith are kind of like, oh shit, these guys really did it. But I'm gonna say Mark Wahlberg comes out with like some just more movies, more shit, more big shit, more
He's more
ghost.
prolific,
Hey,
you know.
I went to school in Boston for a little bit. I'm sympathetic to the Boston white boy. Let's go Mark Wahlberg in an upset.
In an upset, Mark Wahlberg, he got outacted by a plant in that one Shyamalan movie where he just let me think. Just let me think. Okay. DMX or Cardi B?
Ooh, wow.
I got no dough for ox.
What is that? Belly? Is that just
Yeah,
DMX's belly? Is that his sole appearance?
That's your man. I think he did a couple of other another couple of
Okay.
things. Cardi B, I saw her in that last Fast movie.
Oh no, DMX
Yeah,
all day.
damn it, she was horrible in that. Andre 3000 versus Kid and Play.
I'm not up on his acting roles like that. I've slept
He was in
on Andres.
that Will Ferrell movie, the basketball movie, right? Where the alley oop, the Tropic Thunder, where he won the basketball thing. He
I
played.
don't know,
He
bro.
played Coffee Black in that, but and I think he's been in a couple of other things, maybe like Atlanta or a couple of other shows.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure people are gonna hate me over this, but like Kid and Play, bro, nostalgia wins.
Kid and Play had a trequel, right? Three movies, right?
A franchise.
A franchise, man. All right, here you go. Big boy time. 50 Cent or Drake? Or Drake could be an actor turned rapper, not a rapper turned actor, but
right. No, I'm going with 50 all day on that one. He's on
Southside Jamaica Queens. Method Man or RZA. Method Man puts in a lot of work. I in my mind, right below Tupac. Method Man, you know, his work on The Wire. He's one of the actors that really like puts in work. Like he goes out in auditions, he gets parts, he's talented.
Okay.
But you know, RZA was also you know, in the Frank Wright, that story with Frank Lucas. He played one of the cops in that. He's been in other shows and movies recently. This is an all woo bracket right here.
Now, do you think that? See, I think Method has a harder time escaping who he is than RZA does. So, like when I see Method. When I see Meth, I keep thinking. When I see the Method guy, all I think of is fucking the rapper, bro. So I'm going RZA.
Going RZA. I got a little ahead of myself. I see Cheese Wagstaff, man, from The Wire when I see Method Man. I give him a problem. But RZA, you can't go wrong with the RZA. All right, Mr. Bow Wow versus Heavy D.
Hey, Heavy D was a slept-on lyricist. I don't remember what he acted in, but I fuck Bow Wow. Bow Wow.
Living Single, I think he was in some. He had like a reoccurring role in Living Single.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
The dumb diddly D. That's the first 7-inch single I bought for a girl for her birthday party. Like it's 8th grade. I didn't know what else to get, so I got a fucking 7-inch single of Heavy D.
Nice, hey man.
Overweight lover, Heavy D.
Donald Glover versus Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, that's Donald Glover. I don't fuck with Machine Gun Kelly. I don't give a shit. Ooh.
I mean, he's already winning in life with his girl. What's her name? So that's enough for him. He just needs to be happy where he's at. Stay your ass at home. All right, Ice Cube versus Nas. You know how I feel about Nas. Nas is my favorite rapper of all time. Q Borough, Queens, New York till I die. But you know, Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, bro. All I can say is
Africa.
Boys in the Hood changed my life, bro.
I seen it. I killed that kid. My name's Sincere. Oh my God, I don't know. Nas and Belly is just, if you want unintentional comedy and you just watch Nas and Belly, it's so. I mean, a lot of the movie is based on his lyrics, and he still couldn't. He couldn't even do it. There's a reason Nas never had. There's a reason Nas never acted again after Belly. There's a reason. All right, moving on to the second round. It gets tougher from here. We got Will Smith or Fredo. Start.
That's Will Smith all day.
Most Def or Nick Cannon.
Most Def.
Redman or Eve.
Redman.
Tupac or Queen Latifah.
Pac.
Mark Wahlberg or DMX.
Ooh, let's go Mark Wahlberg.
Kid and Play or 50 Cent.
50 Cent.
RZA or Heavy D.
Let's go RZA.
Donald Glover or Ice Cube. This is a tough one. New school and
Yeah,
old school.
it is.
right.
I'm going Cube. I'm old school.
Cube. I don't bang. I rock the good rhymes. Will Smith or Mos Def.
Now, what I like about these two is they operate outside of hip hop convention. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're asking Mos Def. Nah, I'm going Will Smith.
6 degrees of separation. You know, he's got a lot of fucking. I mean, yeah, you can say he was mouthing the words during, Fresh Prince, or he really didn't show a lot of emotion. But he found his own after the first couple of seasons, and he's become a legit blockbuster movie actor. You can't deny that. Well, we got next one is Redman versus Tupac.
Tupac.
Mark Wahlberg or 50 Cent. I don't know who would win in a push-up contest, but let's see who the best actor is here.
Ooh. I'm going Mark Wahlberg.
Well, Wahlberg.
And the best part is I might be giving Mark Wahlberg Ben Affleck's props, and the other what's Ben Affleck's homeboy's name?
Matt Damon.
I'm putting Matt Damon. See, how about this? Ooh, I'm doing what they do to us, bro. Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg, they're the same motherfucker to me, bro. So I'm giving Mark Wahlberg Matt Damon props on top of it. So I'm going Mark Wahlberg.
What was that? What was that one song that he had? I don't know. I remember there was one Mark Wahlberg song that I liked from the Funky Bunch. Ice Cube. All right, this is a worthy Final Four here. We got Will Smith, Tupac, Wahlberg, Ice Cube. Now, if you want to talk about whose movies have made the most money, that's between Will Smith and Mark Wahlberg. If you want to talk about poor talent, I think that's Tupac. If you want to talk about who brings the most gangsterness as a rapper actor to it, I think that would probably be Ice Cube over Pac because of longevity. Because Ice Cube was a fucking triple OG, NWA. He ghost rid a bunch of things, no Vaseline. Like Cube, but he also did Are We There Yet? And he also did a bunch of those things, but for some paychecks. Tupac would have won an Oscar by this time. This is a worthy Final Four. I don't envy you, Mr. Big Brown Dad. Dizzy Miss Lizzie. Why? This is a hard final bracket. We're talking about the best rapper. While you think about that, let me just give you one other shout out real quick to make sure people know who I'm talking about. We're talking with Mr. Carlos Aguilar. He's the founder and Big Chief CEO of Mestizo Coffee. You can find them at Mestizo Coffee. Just search for it; it'll come up. They're making sustainable, but they're not. They're trying to work with Latinos for Latinos. It's not fucking. There's no Frida Kahlo. There's no fucking eagle with a fucking snake in its hands on the label. It's basically just top shelf coffee made by Latinos. Enhance your coffee experience. Don't be like me. Be cool with the coffee. You can find him at Big Brown Dad on his blog. You can find him on Twitter. And he's got hot takes about a lot of issues pertaining to the Latinx Hispanic community. So, number one, it's a pleasure to have you on the pod, man. I hope you've had a good time so far.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
No problem. And we are at the bracket bit stage of this program where we are trying to decide. The bracket has been created for maximum pain, and I have chosen rappers, actors for Mr. Big Brown Dad. We are down to our final four. Will Smith, Tupac, and ironically, Nas wrote Will Smith's best album. And he's Mark Wahlberg. Nas wrote Miami. He ghost wrote Miami. Ice Cube and Mark Wahlberg. So here are our final four. In the first bracket, we have Will Smith versus Tupac.
I got to tell you that I think Tupac also suffers from being too real, too Tupac. Like I don't think I want to see Tupac playing a barista in fucking rom com. I don't think I want to see Tupac as a
I don't think anybody wants to see that.
fucking. I want to see Tupac as a substitute teacher, fucking chasing thugs down the hallway and shit. Like, I think Tupac has maybe 4 or 5 roles
Tupac in
that he could probably flex in.
in a remake of Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna pass on that. I'm gonna go with Will Smith. He's more versatile, and this has absolutely zero to do with the fact that Miss Larkham, my 12th grade advanced drama teacher, said that I remind her of Will Smith. How about that? Take that to the bank.
There you go. This,
showing my hand on these finals right here, bro.
This is the man who chewed Punky Brewster's gum
and swallowed it.
And swallowed it. Mark Wahlberg or Ice Cube? This is a tough matchup here.
Now, if there's ever, now I can tell you this, it's been fun, Mark. Thanks for coming along for the ride. But Mark, if you think I'm ever choosing your fucking ass over anything Ice Cube related, you have to be on one Ice Cube for the win.
And that brings us down to the Fresh Prince versus the Beast of LA, the Ice Cube.
Well, you know, this actually reminds us of a common issue that we face as Latino creators and consumers. It's like, do we like shit on GP because our people did it, even if it's not as good? And you know what? Sometimes I think we do. So, like, take Ice Cube and Mark Wahlberg. Like, can Mark Wahlberg act better than Ice Cube? Let's just say he could, right? I don't give a fuck. I'm rocking with Ice Cube. You know, in spite of whatever the facts are. That's the kind of shit I'm on, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In spite of the facts.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're honest, like I said, as long as you're honest with yourself about it, like you can talk yourself into any point of view, really. You know, you just got to be like, hey, people are complex, man. You know, everybody feels things for different reasons. So yeah, this is a valid bid up so bad, but the decision still makes for you is Will Smith or
Will
Ice Cube.
Smith and Ice Cube. All right, Cube. Thank you for coming along. We have some Oscars to pick up. We have some Tonys. We might even have a fucking. What else is there? What else can we get out here? An Emmy, a Grammy, the EGOT. Let's just roll it all up. Let's give it to Will Smith. Let's bounce up out this biatch.
Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of this bracket, at least. Now, you know you got the EGOT. I'd said this to a couple of friends recently, but I'm going to say it publicly because it's not a goal unless you write it down or you say it out loud. And just like there's an EGOT, I would like to create something new. I want to be the first person that wins a Oscar and a World Series of Poker bracelet. I love directing, filmmaking, just as much as I love poker. When I play too much poker, my films suffer. When I make too many movies, my poker suffers. I love them both equally. Life is not long enough to be great at that many things. So those are kind of the two that I focus my energy on. So my goal as a filmmaker and poker player is to be the first one that wins a World Series of Poker bracelet and an Oscar. How kind of like Kobe is probably the first person to win an NBA championship and an Oscar. You know, right. I want to be the first person to win an Oscar and a World Series of Poker bracelet. So just putting it out there into the universe. Mr. Big Brown Dad, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on. I knew I was gonna like you from the minute you got on when I saw your J-Lib album, because obviously I got my J Dilla artwork right there as well. You know, that's from an artist that I found at Comic-Con a few years back.
Shit!
So as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, this dude knows about music and you're knowledgeable about a lot of subjects. So
check that ceremony. Okay, so the ceremony, the coffee I did with Elemento. The way that happened was I was doing my coffee shit. Elemento hit me up. He sent me a song that was about coffee. Who produced it? Madlib. So it's a Madlib produced track on the coffee bag. It's not Dilla, but it's Madlib, and you already know what's up. It's just fat.
I got the Mad Villain right there. And yeah, J-Lib is one of the best collaborations of all time, man. That's like, you know, Pay J and all that good stuff. And back and forth. Anyway, we could have probably done a whole Dillapod. So, but I do, like I said, once again, Big Brown Dad, Mestizo Coffee, look him up, man. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate taking the time. I appreciate everybody that stopped by and commented. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm gonna hit the outro. It'll be 1 minute. We can do a post after this if you hang around, Big Brown Dad. If not, I'll talk to you soon, man. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. This is Big Chief Burrito with Big Brown Dad. Peace out.
Peace.